Now, not to be anti-establishment right off the bat, not exactly, except we're going to have the protein conversation. Yes, we are. This has been part of the YouTube requests that have been coming in. Quite a few people asked the exact same question. What about protein? All protein comes from plants. So that's why I've put together the All-Beet Patty. This combines as many of the high protein aspects, not all of them, but as many as I felt were palatable in combination, into one burger. Now, this burger also satisfies the people who have been asking me for nut-free recipes. There are no nuts in this burger. This instead relies on brown rice. Now, that happens to be high in protein. We're also going to add beans. Any bean is high in protein. Then any seeds or nuts, but remember this is a nut-free recipe, so any seeds or nuts are also really high in protein. So I'm doing a mix, pepitas or pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, and they're gonna go into the mix. That gives it that yummy texture that you might be looking for in nuts that we're not going to include. And then the mighty protein king, chia, and then a complete protein is nutritional yeast flakes. Oh, don't we love nutritional yeast flakes? When you discover this for the first time, you can go overboard. I did. But that's okay, I'm still happy to be overboard with nutritional yeast flakes. And hemp seeds, because you know, I just put these in absolutely everything. Doesn't matter if it's sweet or savory, doesn't matter if it's breakfast, lunch or dinner. But these are brilliant. I'm going to pop these on the top just because personally, I don't want to be wasting that amazing texture by blitzing it in a food processor. And tahini. So we have a fantastic source of seeds with the sesame seed base of tahini. I've already cooked my rice. I should mention that. I don't want you using uncooked rice because that won't be delicious. So I've grated 3 cups of beetroot and then 2 cups of cooked brown rice. I use the absorption method to cook brown rice just because it gives you, and especially for a burger like this, you want to have that texture that isn't slipping past each other, but where you've activated all of the starch. And so if I just squeeze that together, you can see that it holds. You don't have to get too pedantic about mixing this at this stage because we're going to mix these through with our hands. You have to do it like that because that's the tradition. Okay, the rest of the ingredients go into the food processor and then we're going to mix that back with this and we're good to go. Stock. Did we talk about the stock? I don't think we spoke about the stock. Sorry about that. So this is one of our products with all the things, and if you can't get your hands on this, either by coming to the farmers market or jumping into our online store any minute now, then you can just substitute some onion and whatever herbs take your fancy. You just need to have that kind of base, you know, a burger base with some onion and some herbs in there, and then I'm adding extra parsley as well. All of that vitamin C is a marvellous thing. What you want is something that almost resembles hummus. So it's like a paste, because this is the aspect that's going to keep our burgers together. Now, this is definitely a messy bit. So you're going to have to make sure you've got nice clean hands, which I do. You can get this to a certain point with the spatula and then you're going to have to get your hands in here because there's no other way. It's the way that you're going to know that the mixture is spread through evenly. You might have noticed that with the beetroot, I tend to use the larger grater on my food processor, mostly because then you don't have to worry about trying to squeeze out the excess water in the beetroot. It doesn't go mushy. I don't really like mushy burgers. Okay, so now we're at the point where we can shape these. You can see that it's completely mixed together. I probably should have said that, you know, you don't want your phone within reach, because if that sucker rings, you're going to be tempted to answer it. And can I tell you, it doesn't come off. You know how I know that, don't you? Yeah. All right. A tray, and then we'll flour this. If you need these to be gluten-free, don't forget to use a gluten-free flour. Even just a straight besan, a chickpea flour or brown rice flour will work. The flour isn't to bind the burgers. It's just so that they don't stick when you're baking them. I use a cup measure just because I think it's easier to shape them rather than go one after the other, and then just give them a little press down. These are like a burger bun size. So once you pop these in to a bun with whatever you decide you like to build your burger with, definitely some salad. Your beetroot's taken care of, obviously. So they're going to go into the oven for 10 minutes for one side. Use a spatula, flip them over, 10 minutes on the other side, and then you can either eat those as they are, or these freeze brilliantly. So by the time you've gone to the effort of making burgers, I think make a double batch and throw a heap in the freezer, but that's just me. Let's get these in the oven. I've done a couple of trays of these. Like I said, do a double batch. If you're going to make these, make it worth your while. I mean, it's not an enormous process, but it's big enough that you're not going to do this without some forethought. And if you're going to put the time in, make it last the week. Well, however many people you're feeding. Okay, I'm going to do these without bread, but when I eat them, most of the time I do eat them with bread. I just wanted to give you some options. I have to have sauce with burgers, I just have to. I've never not done it. You could try. I'm not recommending it. Rocket flowers, just because they're going on everything. And for extra protein, pea tendrils, because remember, anything to do with legumes is high in protein. Those all-beet patties, super high protein, plant protein. So when somebody does ask you, you can say, oh, that's easy. I just eat those all-beet patties whenever I need that extra dose of protein. These are brilliant. I hope that you can pop them into your repertoire, because they are awesome to be able to have something super hearty, but also, obviously, unbelievably good for you. You know, I could just play with these pea tendrils, or I could tell you to subscribe. What would you rather?